Smana e
All right, everyone. Welcome to Myriacast episode 19. I hope everybody had a good weekend and is having a good Monday. My Monday's been a bit weird so far. I just started like a part-time job, and teaching teaching is a new adventure for me. But we are going to be doing a little bit of a different conversation today. Normally we have like a game topic. Today we're going to talk about a little bit of a variety of things. We will get some gaming news to start with. We don't. I don't think there's as much this week to talk about with game news from the from previous week, but we want to focus today on Ubisoft Forward, which was we actually had a live stream for this weekend. This was the first time we've done something like this for Spoon and I. I really enjoyed it. I don't know about Spoon. Oh, no PS5 price point. We're told today. I I, I got to be honest. I'm not like really waiting with I'm not tense about that.
Wait,
It,
were we expecting that today?
yeah, I don't
It's
know.
not-
I don't know. Who
I
knows?
didn't hear that. I did not hear that we were
Yeah.
expecting that today, but okay.
Anyway,
Fair enough.
so I'm Otto. That's Spoon. If you've been here before, you know who we are. And if you haven't, welcome. If this is like your first episode, if you're watching this, welcome. This is, like I said, this is going to be a different episode than what we normally do. Normally we focus on a topic. Today we're focusing on Ubisoft Forward, which is a multitude of topics. Some I'm really excited about personally. Be sure to follow the Myriathon Twitter. Follow check out the YouTube by going to Myriathon in YouTube search bar. Follow the Twitch channel if you can. If not, okay, I guess. I don't know. And if you, unfortunately, with Anchor last week, I did want to point out that I didn't get the audio up. I had some issues with my computer, which I think I've resolved. So it'll be a double feature this week for the audio on Anchor. So that's going to be the intro for the Myriathon. Spoon, why don't we just get started into some game news? Uh, I've got a little list of things in my document. Really, I've only got one thing I want to focus on. This wasn't last week. I just wanted to quickly talk about this. Let me switch to our other overlay. So
We
let's
got a we
hop
got
over
a
here.
fancy new overlay.
So this is the overlay that we created for the live stream. I mean, I think we both liked it enough where I think this is great for game news to bring over here. So we have a developer update from Crucible. For those of you that don't know it, which is probably all of you, um, Crucible was a game that was published by Amazon. I actually don't know who the developer was necessarily, but I know Amazon was spearheading this project. They launched it in May. I actually watched a couple live streams of this. Think of this as like a little bit of BR, a little bit of Overwatch. There were three different game modes, and they kind of like spliced pieces of each. But it was a smaller BR system. I think it was like 16 people jump into a BR game for that. And ultimately, it lasted about 2 months, and they closed it. So they're going back into what they're calling closed beta. So the so this is just I've just got the text up here if you're interested. They, I guess, had a roadmap, but the one thing that they're focused on, there's a game mode called Heart of the Hives. I don't know of the full details on it, but this seemed to be the game mode people kind of liked. So they're going to go back to closed beta, focus on that. And the reason why I wanted to bring this one up in particular is this is why you market games. This is the reason. I don't think this game visually looks bad at all. Like, these are just in-game screenshots. I watched it. It looks pretty good if you're just looking at it, but they had balancing issues. But above all else, nobody really heard of this game, and I think it's like one of those things where this game seems like something that probably should have had more exposure, and it really didn't. And I wanted to bring up here some of the gameplay. It's muted, and there really isn't good closed captioning, so that's kind of going to be a meme for this. But here's just some muted gameplay of this. Spoon, did you hear anything about this game?
I have heard of it, but other than that, no.
Yeah,
Like I I may have heard it mentioned at one point
yeah,
by someone, probably you, to be honest,
yeah.
and that was about it.
And like what, just like you can see it on the screen though. For those of you watching, it looks like, for those of you not watching, I apologize. I'll try and put some links in the descriptions. Um, this like doesn't look that bad. The characters are kind of, I think they look a little odd. The alien characters look a little odd, but nothing too poor.
Yeah, I mean this doesn't look terrible from the trailer at
Yeah,
least. The art style's kind of cool. The character design is kind of unique.
yeah. So I don't know, kind of an interesting thing. I just wanted to talk about it briefly because, yeah, I mean, it's an Amazon game. This is like their first venture, and it just didn't work. So I think, yeah, and it did have balance issues, as Tricourage said. I know that for sure. I watched some videos, so I just want to talk about that briefly. I think it's just again a testament to, just because you're like Amazon or something and you put a game out there, you still got to market it. You still got to, the game still has to be an enjoyable experience from the gameplay side. Uh, I mean, I got to be honest. I'm kind of hopeful that they when they try again, they get an honest second chance. But with stuff like this, if you go back into closed beta, if you go back into that shell, I don't know. It's tough for me to see a world where this comes back. I mean, we've seen some games do this, but I don't know. I think it's a shame that a game like this, which some people clearly put some good thought and effort into, gets thrown out. I won't say thrown out, but pushed back into that state. So, did you want to add anything? I know I talked for most of that, but
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I feel like again, the game doesn't look terrible from what I've saw, but this is a tough market to break into, not just gaming in general, but like BR and Overwatch or like hero shooter, I guess if you
mm-hmm.
want to call it, like those have some very clear front runners that are hard to break past. Kind of like
Right,
MOBAs as well, you don't really want to go out making a MOBA to compete against League of Legends or Dota. You'd have to make something really incredible. And even if you did, it might not break in just
right.
because stuff gets so entrenched. And with Battle Royale, it's Fortnite
Yeah,
mostly, I guess, and I
it's
think
Fortnite and Apex.
Apex has its following. Does PUBG? I mean, I'm sure PUBG still exists,
Yeah,
but
PUBG
I,
exists. It's a thing.
um, and for hero shooters, it's pretty much just Overwatch, isn't it? Like I
Yeah.
haven't heard of anything else that really got any footing against
And
Overwatch.
COD 2 Warzone. Thank you.
Oh yeah,
Warzone. Thank
Warzone.
you.
Yeah. I always forget about that because it's not specifically a BR game, it's just part of Call of Duty, but yes, of course
Yeah,
Warzone has
Warzone's a
its
big
own.
one. Warzone's a big one. People like it. No complaints regarding that one. Okay, I want to move to one more news segment before we get to Ubisoft Forward, because I think Ubisoft Forward, there's a lot to really dive into. We talked about it this weekend. There's one more thing I want to show, and I got to be honest, I kind of think I'm scared. It's starting to become a meme for me now. I have here the Atari video game console. I'm gonna play the official trailer. I'll let the audio.
Into our living rooms with the Atari 2600.
I'll let the audio in sneak in.
Now, we're ready to reopen
This
that
was
portal
this was
and
kind
introduce
of
a brand
announced, I
new
think,
Atari
a year and a
product.
half, 2 years
Inspired
ago.
by the past,
It was an
but
Indiegogo
created,
campaign.
designed,
This
and engineered for today.
was this raised over $3 million. I think people were kind of interested and excited to see Atari come back and come up with their own console that was supposed to be next gen theoretically. I don't have the specs out in front of me, but I've heard some disturbing things about this. Thing number one, this is supposed to be, I think, $500, and an incredibly weak console from what I've heard for a we'll call it from how it processes the teraflops on this thing, which is we'll call it a measurement of performance. The measurement of performance here is extremely poor. If Xbox Series 400, still 400. If the new Xbox Series X was going at 12 teraflops, this is probably going to go at zero point 0.5. Something like disturbingly
I mean,
low.
this looks like a I mean, it's not a retro console, but it looks on the lines of being a retro console. They're gonna probably re-release old Atari games on
Yep.
this thing and maybe make slightly more modern, updated versions of them and stuff like that. I don't see this thing needing a ton of processing power, but I don't know.
Yeah. I watched a video from Yang Ya, who's by the way a great content creator. Please go watch his stuff.
Yep.
he was, and I watching it, he was just discussing the performance of this system, and it's not supposed to just be playing old Atari games. It's supposed to be a next gen console, and I'm quite concerned about the performance. If you are curious about the stuff that he talked about, it's I would go ahead and check him out. He also talked about from this article that he had found that one of the lead designers of the system had dropped from the company. So the lead architect, excuse me,
that's not a good sign.
it's a really
usually.
poor sign. This thing hasn't even hit release, and the person bailed. So I just think this is like it's supposed to also a PC. I have a hard time believing it. I can't really see it. I've seen some disturbing things about its performance power, and it doesn't feel like it's a next gen console to me. But
Yeah,
we'll see.
just looking at this again. I'm don't have all the information. You know more than I do, but just at least looking at this trailer, I don't see this as a true competitor to the PS4 and the Series X, or
Right.
the PS5, excuse me, and the Series X. I see this as kind of its own little thing. It's like, hey, you want to play like cute retro type games, and again, modern adaptations of old retro games that
Yep.
look cooler and a new twist on the gameplay of your retro games. $400 seems a little steep for that to
Yeah.
me, but if it was like 200 or 300, maybe.
Yeah.
But
There's a couple other things I wanted to highlight about this, which I'm concerned about. One thing, they talked about how they're supposed to be native apps. They're not native at all, such as Netflix, Hulu, whatever. These are not native apps at all. These applications are running Chrome essentially onto the system, and it shows because if your system crashes or Chrome crashes on the system, it will give you the same pop-up that Chrome does, and it say, "Would you like to restore your pages?" That does not. It's not a native app then. So that's a lie. That's just a lie, which is concerning.
they're acting like it's a Netflix app, but instead it's
acting
just
like
like a Chrome browser
Chrome
opening
browser.
up Netflix.
And you can see it visually. It looks exactly like
Okay.
you would see it in Chrome browser.
Cool.
Which the only reason I'm concerned about it is because when you start to lie about the package that you're getting, like when you're immediately throwing out lies, especially when it's visually seen in these trailers, which I've seen, that's a really bad sign. Like if you're just immediately lying, I'm just out already. We get tired of that. Yeah, it's not native apps. They're not, it's just, I'm sorry, but you're lying about Netflix, how Netflix performs on your system. That's like really disturbing for me. So just want to talk about that one too. I think it's kind of a big deal because this is supposed to be Atari's comeback console.
Yeah,
And it's looking like a scam.
Yeah, it might be. I don't know. There's definitely some red flags that you're mentioning. But again, looking at just if I just had that trailer, I'd be like, all right. I mean, I'm not that into retro games, so I don't think this is really for me
Sure.
personally. But for people who likes that kind of stuff, maybe people who are a little bit older than me and actually played the Atari back in the day, maybe. But
I don't know. There's some other stuff too, but I think if you really want to dive in, again, go check out Yang. His content on the Atari VCS. He's got 2 videos on it, I think. Great stuff. He does a good job, and he's someone you should be supporting. Okay, was there anything else we want to talk about for gaming news? Spoon, did you have anything you want to talk about? Do you want to shout out Gundam again?
I'll do that later.
Okay, you'll do that later. He's going to shout out Gundam later. There was some other news I saw where there's going to be a life size a to scale size Gundam being built in Japan. I almost sent that to you.
I mean, they already have they already have that, but apparently the new one they're going to build is going to be able to move.
Oh, well, there you go. We're almost there.
Like not like a Gundam, but just walk. I think
that's huge. That's the next step.
We are this much closer to having actual Gundam.
We're this close, boy. We're this close, everyone. We're this close, everyone.
Okay. No. We're this close.
Yeah, I know.
We're this much closer.
But we can have hope. I mean, we can have hope that we can start going crazy. Leave it to Japan to try and like push the envelope on the to scale Gundam. So, okay, let's talk about Ubisoft Forward. There's a list of things that we'll talk about today. I'm actually going to go down the list here, and I'm not going to deviate from what I wrote down in the document. We have Watch Dogs Legion, Mobile Trash, That's actually in the document. It says mobile trash.
I wrote that.
Oh, you wrote that. Okay. Well, I'm still.
This was me. You asked me to list off the
Yes,
game,
thank you.
and that's what I did. And
Okay,
I
good.
bundled the 3 mobile trash games that they did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just bundled
Okay.
those together into mobile
And
trash.
that's going to be Brawlhalla, Might and Magic, Era of Chaos, and Tom Clancy's Elite Squad. We also have. We'll talk a little bit about the Rainbow Six Siege stuff. Honestly, I don't think there's much to say, but just figured we touch on it. I don't know if we'll do it in this order, by the way. Hyperscape, the BR game, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, which I'm excited about, and Far Cry 6, which was like the for me, I loved the trailer that they had for this. So, do you want to go in order of the list? I mean,
We can. I don't. It seems logical,
Let's
but
do it.
I don't
I just
particularly
need to
care.
know because once again, I've got my super special awesome overlay ready to go. Okay.
Man, production's hot today.
I know, I've increased it. So I'm gonna play the trailer for Watch Dogs Legion while we kind of talk about it. So Watch Dogs Legion is the 3rd installment into the Watch Dogs universe. Watch Dogs 1 was set in Chicago. Watch Dogs 2, I'm just going to call it the hipster edition, was set in the Bay Area, San Francisco, San Jose area. This one is set in London, jolly old London. So the baddies, we're told here, are going to be Corporate Commander and
Yeah, Corporate Commander.
a underlord, like criminal organization. I imagine. I think it's like they're dealing drugs and things like that. We didn't get full details, but an Albion, as you can see here, is the Corporate Commander, like private security squad. I guess it seems like. It seems like it's a bit more than that.
More like army. But
Yeah, more like army. It's like a private army. So
apparently, also chat's yelling at production about the audio levels, but
what audio levels? I turned the audio off on the stream thing, but if Spoon.
No, apparently I'm louder than
Oh,
I'm louder than.
you're loud. Okay. Well, let me.
And you're a bit quiet. So turn yourself up a little bit. Maybe turn me down a bit.
I turned you down, turned me up. There we go. Okay. Sorry. Back to the. Back to what we were saying. So this is the criminal. This is the crime lord. That's the crime lord person. She's one of your villains, and the other guy I think we saw earlier was the corporate commander villain. One thing that I think I wanted to kind of hone in on a bit more. So this is a really interesting, and I don't know if it's unique or not, but I hope it works out well. The idea of this game is that you are not necessarily a singular protagonist. Your identity is a group, and you actually recruit NPCs to join your cause, and those NPCs become playable characters, and they have unique abilities and skills, and you can kind of utilize those NPCs like Granny here to sort of change your approach to every situation. And I love this idea. I think this is one of the best ideas I've seen for a game like this. I think it's perfect for the environment of this game where you already could sort of look up people's information. They're taking a step further, so you can see it now. So Spoon, what are your thoughts on this stuff and possibly other things that you were interested in?
I think it's I've not played either of the first 2 Watch Dogs games. I don't know too much about this series. I heard the first one wasn't that good, or that they made. When they announced the first one, they, as per usual with marketing, they put forward this really ambitious idea, and it seemed really cool, and the game came out, and it just was kind of eh. So,
yeah. And
generally, the second one was a little more well received. I know you weren't a big fan of the hipster dealio that had going on, but
it just wasn't. I wasn't vibing with it. I wasn't excited about the fact that they were just all hipsters now. The first game, the main character was he felt more like a calculated assassin.
Yeah.
And they sort of like changed it to you're a bunch of like computer nerds, I guess. Like I don't know. It was a bit weird. I didn't like it as much. I'm sure somebody else did. That's okay.
But so did you play both of the first 2 games?
I didn't finish the second one, but I got pretty far in it.
Did you think the second? I know you didn't really like the protagonists and maybe not necessarily the setting, but did you like the second game more than the first game overall?
Yeah.
Despite that.
It was
Okay.
better. It was definitely a more fleshed out game as a whole.
Okay.
The
So
first game did have some positives though. I thought the main character in the first game was definitely emotionless, but it kind of worked okay. So continue.
so yeah, generally the second game was more well liked than the first game. And yeah, this one again seems very ambitious. They're taking London as the open world, and as Otto said, you at least theoretically, the idea is you're supposed to be able to recruit pretty much any character in the game who's not an enemy that you have to kill into your team,
Yep.
and they will be unique and have unique abilities and do unique things.
Like
Now,
like this person right here.
yeah, like this person right here who's like a security guard or
Yeah.
something, so
Infiltration.
you can
Infiltration.
infiltrate and sneak into the the security area for this private military corporation or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Um, now, this all sounds well and good, and as a marketing strategy, it's like, oh man, this game sounds so cool, it's so ambitious, but let's step back for a second and think about what the possible downsides to this are. Because I watched about a 15-minute video today by Yang Ya. He said he got about 4 hours hands-on with this game.
Okay.
And that he said it was a mixed bag, basically.
Okay.
The issue with the every character is playable and there's no main protagonist is A, the characters end up all feeling very bland and none of them
Yep.
get very fleshed out.
Yep.
Because you don't have one main protagonist who you follow through the whole game and they develop and they have their own conflicts and etc. Instead, you are switching between all of these characters, and I'm going to assume in this game that those characters are going to be very expendable. So if one of them, if you go into a mission and they die, I assume I don't think you're going to be able to respawn and get them back. You're just going to have to get somebody else, basically.
Yeah.
And the other big issue that he mentioned was kind of along the same lines, that some of the mission design ends up being very samey, and some of the characters end up being very samey. He said in the 4 hours that he played, he ran into two characters who had the exact same recruitment mission.
Okay.
Literally, the dialogue was word for word. It was the same voice actress, different character model, and the characters had the exact same abilities.
Yeah.
And the mission was exactly the same, including the setup for the mission and the locations that you went to, the resolution of the mission to recruit the character. So there are going to be duplicates throughout the game because it's impossible to program. I don't know how many people live in London, millions, I'm sure.
Yeah.
It's impossible to program that many characters and have that many varieties of missions. So I think repetition might be a huge possible issue with this game.
Yeah.
That being said, I like the idea. I think the game looks pretty cool. It looks pretty fun. Young also said like the hacking mechanics and like that kind of stuff was really fun.
Yeah.
So it wasn't all bad, but those are a couple of the possible issues with the game. Just
yeah. I'm on board with those complaints. Oh, issues. I think you're not going to have a main protagonist, and therefore your whatever characters you play with are going to feel a little bit more, I'm going to say bland.
Bland. Yeah, bland.
And I think if the recruitment missions are, I don't think they're all going to be the same. Obviously, I think that's just a singular 4-hour experience. I'm hoping though that there's enough where there's enough variety in the missions where if it's like a pool of maybe 10, I don't know what it's going to be, but like if it's a pool of 10.
I mean, I think reasonably there could be like 50 to 100 of them.
Could be, yeah. And I think, it's a lot if you start really trying to be creative and unique. It can start to really become an issue from the complexity side. So I think I guess I'm going to say I think balance is going to be really difficult for missions too. They might not just feel all the same, but they may also just not be well flushed out for all the different character types. But to be fair, I don't know what difficulty I played on for Watch Dogs 1 and 2. Yeah, you die a few times, but there were not many situations where I felt like it was so challenging I couldn't push forward without thinking of a really complicated strategy. It was more or less, okay, there's probably like two or three interesting ways I want to pursue. Maybe I want to climb up a crane and make some noise and then do this and that. But it wasn't like a really intricate chess match, if you will, to figure out how to get through it. I think it'll probably be the same here. I love that the infiltration part by itself was cool, to just be like, okay, you can recruit one of the employees of the baddies company and just have that person walk in. It's just like, okay, you could just circumvent all those combat problems by just finding the right characters for the right situation. That's a great thing too, though. I can't really think of, I can't really hinder my reaction because I know, just because like I know somebody's played a little bit. I think just the ability to infiltrate, to just creatively get rid of all these problems because you went out of your way to find the right person for the right job is like a good concept. So
Yeah, I think the strength of this game is going to be in the open world aspects of it and being able to explore and recruit anybody you want and really
right,
diversify your team, and the creative aspect of that open world with all these varied characters that you have, and the ability to kind of customize the way you want to approach each mission based on your team and your play style and etc. Because I'm sure for each mission, depending on whether you want to go like stealthy, if as you were saying, like infiltrating with a character who has a like affiliation with the location you're going to, like again with like a construction worker, if you have a mission where you have to go infiltrate some sort of construction site, if you're using a construction worker, you're going to be able to infiltrate that
you
much
think
much
so?
more easily.
Yeah,
um so, or I'm sure you could play like a more guns blazing type character where you just come in and start killing
yeah,
everybody. I mean, I'm sure that's a
yeah.
viable option. Um, and you could play like a
Granny, you could be
yeah,
Granny.
you could play Granny. You could play a super tech savvy character who's hacking all over the place, and you again, I don't really know how the game works, but you're using like drones and like
Mm-hmm.
these spider tech things to get things going.
Right.
So I think the uniqueness in customization in the way you play is going to be the strength of this
Yep.
game. I think it will suffer from some repetitiveness, maybe some weakness in the characters and the narrative, possibly, and some yeah, and you know,
Uh,
I'm sure not all of the missions are going to be bangers. There's probably
right.
going to be some boring stale missions here and
Oh,
there. So,
absolutely.
yeah.
The other games had the same issue of semi-repetitiveness. I hate to say this, but it's sort of like a weird Ubisoft thing where like they come up with a couple of good missions, but a lot of them start to really go into the same bucket, and you're like, okay, that it's
Yeah, I
yeah,
mean,
sure,
they they tend to make very large expansive open world games. So, and that is one of the things with open world games. Again, you're going to have some good missions that actually have a story and interesting characters and etc. And then you're going to have your filler missions that are just like
right,
fetch quests or kill this dude or kill these people,
right,
get me this, get me that, deliver this here, escort this person. Like those quests are going to exist in
yeah,
open world games, and they're part of the experience. You have to know
sure,
that going in.
absolutely, yeah. Any other thoughts on Watch Dogs before we move to mobile trash?
Um No, I don't think so. I
Okay,
mean, I think the game is very ambitious. I think overall it looks really cool. It piqued my interest. Again, as someone who hasn't played the first two games, this one definitely has piqued my interest more than the first two did. I'm not sure it'll be a day one buy for me, which I said yesterday as well. But the game looks cool. I'll probably wait for it to come out, see what maybe Auto says if Auto plays it, and
yeah,
one of some of the reception on some of the other maybe
sure,
reviews are kind of but
yeah,
what some other people say about it. It looks interesting. It has me intrigued, but it's not 100% up my alley. It's not a
sure,
JRPG, so it's not like completely up my alley, but it does
sure.
look cool.
I'll definitely be playing it pretty quickly. I just think it's got some cool stuff. I'm willing to dive in for a bit. Okay, let's move to mobile trash. I don't have a cool video for this. I actually thought of getting a video of someone sleeping, just for this because this is how I felt during this sequence. They had, as you said on here, they had Brawlhalla. It's a Smash Bros. Clone. I have no. Yep.
Mobile Smash Bros.
Sorry.
Clone.
Mobile Smash Bros. Clone. Put me to sleep. I have no comments. I have nothing to say. Okay, nothing to say. Good. Another game called Might and Magic: Era of Chaos. Okay, great.
It's a mobile game.
It's a mobile game.
It's a mobile. I actually don't even remember what the gameplay of that was.
It looked like one of those fantasy mobile games where you're sacrificing your wallet for like 10 minutes of fun a day.
That one wasn't even. Brawlhalla and Might and Magic were not announcements. They were like.
It was just. It was just like it exists.
Thanks for playing. These exist. Please come download our game and play us copious amounts of money in microtransactions to play our crappy mobile game. All right, thanks.
We've talked about mobile games in the past during our microtransactions video. If you're curious about that,
I apologize if you're listening to this and you're a fan of mobile games, but as you can tell, Otto and I are not.
No love for mobile games. I've played a couple of them. I've dabbled into them, and you know what happens? I realize very fast exactly what they're trying to do, and I go, yeah, I'm out. So
yeah, I've played Kingdom Hearts Union Cross. I've played Fire Emblem Heroes, and I tried a couple of the Tales ones that existed, and they all kind of. Oh, and I played Pokemon Go a little bit, but not very much.
Yeah, Pokemon Go is like a little bit, and there's a Tales gacha game coming out.
There's been a couple. There's been. They keep iterating on it. I generally don't pay attention to it too much, but I did. Okay, so they shut down the last one and they opened up a new one.
Mm-hmm.
So great. So all that stuff you bought in the last one, you just lose, and now go play the new one. Thanks, Bamco.
Sounds like FIFA.
Jerks.
Sounds like FIFA and NBA 2K. All right, there's one more mobile game that I have on here, or that you put on here. Excuse me. Tom Clancy's Elite Squad.
I mean, they had a trailer for this. It looked. I actually didn't. They didn't show any gameplay. It was just a trailer, so I didn't really know what it was
trailer showing
about.
some Rainbow Six Siege. Well, Tom Clancy stuff. So Rainbow Six Siege stuff. We saw Splinter Cell. Characters. We saw.
Yeah, they brought Sam Fisher back for the first time. For the first time, and people have been asking for a new Splinter game, and guess where he shows up? In a freaking mobile game. Man, I'm sure people weren't happy about that one.
Elite Squad looks like a gacha game. Wow, that would be just like that's like a shot in the heart to Tom Clancy fans. I think. Actually, no, that probably someone I'm sure would enjoy it, but I don't know. Mobile's like.
Is Tom Clancy dead? I think he is.
I think he is, isn't he? And they just like
Ubisoft. I just didn't want to like. I feel like Tom Clancy would be like rolling in his grave with all this.
Yeah, he passed away some time ago.
Okay, I thought so, but I didn't want to say for sure. But I feel like Tom Clancy's freaking rolling in his grave with all this garbage Ubi's doing with this license right now. It's like Jesus, please, dude.
Yeah, I do like some of the Tom Clancy games. To be fair, with like, we'll talk about Rainbow Six Siege here right now. Actually, we can segue perfectly. So Rainbow Six Siege had a little highlight reel of thanking fans. They've had like 60 million players play their game through the years. This game came out in 2015, I believe, so it's been around for 5 years. This game obviously has a special place in my heart because I happen to have a team of players playing this game, and I do like watching this game. I think it's incredibly interesting when we aren't doing Dr. Pepper streams of it. And for me in particular, I just want to say the people who made it is a really creative experience. I say kudos to those people. They did a great job with a game that's really, it is fun. The times I've played it with all those guys, it's been great.
I mean, wasn't it? Maybe I'm wrong about this, but I feel like I heard when it came out, it wasn't super great, and they kind of really stuck with it and improved it over probably a couple years to make it really good.
Which again,
and now it's got the community that it does.
Good job.
So,
wait a minute, we forgot something. We didn't even put this on here. they put a For Honor highlight in here at some point. There was
I
like a
forgot.
reel of different people like sending their clips, and For Honor was in here for
Well,
about
so was
10
like
seconds.
the crew and
The crew, yep.
Steep and a lot of games. Man, remember, you probably don't remember this, but at the E3, I don't remember how many years ago, the highlight reveal from the end of the show was this game called Steep, which was, a extreme sports game basically. And I mean, I
Yeah.
know it came out at some point, but nope, like
I mean,
nobody
For
bought
For
that.
Honor was a thing for like 2 months. Probably, I mean, probably longer. I'm joking, but like For
Man,
Honor was a serious thing for a little bit, and then I don't know what happened. It like that's like an interesting story to dive into at some point. For Honor is just like a pretty cool idea, I think, and
I
just
loved the concept of it. I never played it, but
just kind of went downhill. I don't know what happened
yeah.
really.
Actually, I think I did try the beta when that came out before the
Right.
game did, but I don't know.
I did have some Rainbow Six stuff, but it's okay. We're gonna, but I think just like generally speaking, just again to say that Rainbow Six Siege is a game that I think they've done a good job really getting it flushed out. I don't know how people felt about it when it first released, but where it's at now, 5 years later, is in a great place. So again, good job. There's a little clap for you. Anything else, Spoon? I know you don't know too much about Rainbow Six, but did you want to say anything else?
No,
Okay.
about Rainbow Six. No, I don't really. I mean, I haven't seen it played other than Dr. Pepper, so the game
Other than
looks
Dr. Pepper Speed.
cool. It's definitely not for me, but
But it's
you
cool.
know,
I mean, really, it's cool.
it's a cool
It
game.
is.
It's a very cool concept. The game seems very tactical. Um, yeah, no, game looks cool. You know what game, by the way? Did they? Okay,
Okay.
Ubisoft had this game that they had at a couple of E3s in a row. It was called Skull and Bones. It was like a pirate
Pirate
ship
game.
game.
They didn't talk about it,
Did,
but I think
did
it
they
exists.
scrap it? Did they? I thought I heard maybe a little while ago that they either paused development or they scrapped it, but I feel like they haven't talked about it in a while. And I know people were excited about this game, but
Somebody said on here,
it's
Ubisoft has rebooted Skull and Bones. Initial release date March 2021.
okay. So they did scrap it at one point, but
I
maybe they
guess.
brought it back.
Maybe they're
I
bringing
don't
it
know.
back.
They haven't talked about it in a while,
If they just
but I
make
know.
it very similar to how the Assassin's Creed naval combat worked back when, and they just flush that out more, the naval combat Assassin's Creed has always been a really strong thing. So if you somehow iterate on that and improve on it, I might be down to like give it a serious look. But yeah, I think they did scrap it and it came back. So there you go.
All right.
Now we get Hyperscape, and
I know you're really
full
excited about this game.
disclosure on this one once again. I am not a huge fan of BR games. I think Apex Legends was an enjoyable experience for me. I've never played Fortnite. I got to be honest with you. I think I don't hate the game itself. I think just I just don't really. It just doesn't resonate with me. I'm considering giving Hyperscape like maybe a couple plays just to see because I did enjoy Apex Legends when I played with people, and I will give this a shot at some point. So Hyperscape is Ubisoft's battle royale game. It's an open beta now. Um, I don't. There's like I don't know how many people 100 in a game and
99.
99 in a game. Why 99? Why
I
not
think it's
100?
team. I looked like the gameplay that I saw looked like it was teams of three,
Teams
like
of three. Okay,
Apex.
that makes sense. So teams of three with 99 people in the map.
So that's
As you can
33. That's
as you can
33
see,
games.
some gameplay of this thing. Looks like there's some interesting little abilities happening here. I guess there's like move boosts. Here's what I have to say about this game. This game apparently has a story, and I got to be perfectly honest with everybody here. I do not care. I
Yeah.
don't care at all.
Yeah, during the presentation, they had a guy talking about the story, and I'm like, why? Why do you
Cool.
have a story? It's a BR game,
This
dude.
is this is also a Twitch. It's got a pretty heavy Twitch extension in it. I paused the video, and the Twitch extension, to the understanding that I saw within the videos with this, The extension allows the viewers to manipulate the environment of the game to create specific effects, which for me in particular, I think it's interesting in theory, but I don't know how it works with, like, okay, if you're a streamer and you connect your Twitch account to Ubisoft Uplay account, which already is like, you got to use Uplay with this. You then have your viewers vote on that, and then does it tally all the votes from different streams, and the streamers actually manipulate the environment. That's kind of like, that's a little bit frustrating for the other players, because they're like, well, I'm not Twitch streaming this thing, and these streamers are just like messing with my game, I guess.
The streamers don't necessarily have any control. It's the viewers. I guess they can try and influence their viewers,
right.
But
I don't know. It's just like, I'm not saying it's like, I wouldn't like get super salty about it, but I'm just saying it's like, okay, so the streamers, like, their viewers manipulate the game effects, and everybody else just sort of has to, you know.
And what if there's like what if there's a game where there's no streamers in a game, which I'm sure will happen.
Right. I don't know.
Is it just random entirely, or does it not happen at all, or
maybe it just doesn't happen?
Who knows?
I don't know. Like, I don't know how it's going to pick up. Okay, there's one streamer with 3 viewers, and those 3 viewers put on the gravity, remove gravity or something, or gravity is like half as effective. I don't know.
Low gravity.
Yeah, low gravity. Sure, let's do low gravity. Yeah. And those 3 viewers just press it. Is like, well, you're the only Twitch stream, so the 3 viewers affected the entire game. I don't know. So, I think somebody thought it was a good idea. I have no idea how it's going to work out. The game kind of has to work out, and people have to watch this thing for that effect to really go through. I'm sure people will watch it. I'm sure people will interact with it, but I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this fully. I think it's just fine.
I mean, from what I saw, it looked... I'm with you. I'm not that into VR games. If you and some other of our friends decide they want to try it out, I may jump in and try it out with you guys, but I'm not chomping at the bit to get into this thing. It looked kind of fun from the trailer. It didn't look bad to me, but
yeah,
in the long run, it's still a VR game.
I think it's just one game mode, by the way. It's just the VR game mode. I don't know if there's like another mode where you can separate the Twitch stream side of it. But I mean, if the game is built from the Twitch streaming side of it up, like, they're not. I don't know if they want to make another game mode just for that to be removed. I'm just like thinking about it. But anyway, and it seems like drops. Yeah, I have like a side conversation that I would do at some point about developers and producers putting drops into Twitch. I think drops are a really poor way to get engagement. It's like one of the worst ways to engage viewers I've ever seen.
People just lurk. Like, they don't actually watch. They just open the stream and lurk.
I've lived through this with Elder Scrolls Legends. If any game has implemented this correctly and actually produced engagement from it, wonderful, good for you. I'm really happy, actually, because with the Elder Scrolls community, when they added drops and Bethesda added drops, it was disastrous. It was one of the worst things I've ever experienced in regard to engagement. I felt terrible for the streamers. Were fine with it, I think, to a certain extent, because they got some viewers and it made them look kind of good. Yeah,
bump their numbers. Yeah.
The issue came from people deciding to do 24-hour streams, which is not good content, by the way. When you just put up a 24-hour live stream of you streaming, you stream for 7 to 8 hours actually, and then you just rerun the stream, but you keep it live. You keep it on the live tag as opposed to the rerun tag.
Yeah, so the drops are still active. And
then what ends up happening is those streamers that were happy before are actually upset. And that happens. So,
I mean, didn't that happen with Valorant too, when the Valorant beta came out, or whatever it was?
Oh, Tricourage says Twitch is not supposed to allow that anymore. Good luck.
Yeah, I think.
Good luck. I hope so, but good luck. It was just a really toxic environment. So, sorry, Spoon. Anything else? Go ahead.
No, I mean, I agree. Yeah, they need. If they're gonna do Twitch integration, we need better ideas than drops. That's stupid.
I hate it. I think like it's great for the viewers that just lurk. I think for the streamers themselves it's kind of nice, but I just don't think it's good engagement. It's not the right engagement. I don't want that, actually. So anyway, okay. Anything else on Hyperscape? Spoon. No.
Nope.
Okay, nothing.
It's a BR. We'll see. We'll see. I mean, it's they announced during the stream that the beta's open now. You can sign up and play it if you want to. So for those who are interested in that,
Feel free.
go ahead and
Really.
give it a shot and let us know how it is
Yeah.
if you're into
And
BRs.
and I might give it a shot. I don't know. I'm still thinking about it. I think it's
Yeah,
is it just
same.
for PC or is it for all consoles? I need that to be cleared up. Um,
Uh, I think I only heard PC, but
okay,
I
that's fine.
don't quote me on that one. I'm not sure.
It's I'm sure it'll go to consoles at some point.
Try. We will let you know if we do play it.
Yeah, if we do
Don't
play it,
worry.
we'll
We
we'll
won't.
let people know who want to
We
join
won't.
us.
We won't let you keep you out of that one.
We'll
Or
let
maybe
you.
we will.
We'll bring you down.
I'm gonna
We're
make my
bad teammates.
I'm gonna make my own Discord server called No Try Allowed, and
No try allowed. Oh,
everyone's invited except Try.
that's a good idea. Okay.
Blue.
All right.
I said don't quote me on that.
Let's go
Not quote
for
me.
what I feel is my main event. Although Watch Dogs is good. I can't hate on Watch Dogs. I thought it was great. Okay, we have Assassin's Creed Valhalla, finally. I've been so patient. I can't lie to you. I've been so patient. Just the fact that you're a Viking was already it bought me in immediately. I have to turn off the audio, sorry. Okay, so we're getting some in-game footage. This is gameplay trailer. So, again, if you didn't watch the Ubisoft
Did you change the scene?
forward, production is trying. If you didn't watch the Ubisoft forward, they did show quite a bit of gameplay, and they actually had a post-show talking a bit more in depth about interactions you can have, various different aspects of the game, what's being changed. I will say, I think there's a couple things I really like already, and I actually think the thing I like most, I don't know if it's going to be yours. I think getting rid of side quests is great. I thought about this. I think it's like one of the best things you can do. When you getting rid of the side quests in Odyssey, I'm not a huge fan of. I was a huge fan of the quest lines that you could get that felt they were maybe that you could consider them a side quest, but they had a quest line. You could do about 4 or 5 quests down this tree, and they each had their own little story. But when I think side quests, I think when you go to there was this job board, and that was like the side quest. I hope they get rid of those side quests, and I think they are. I think there's going to be interactions that are going to have a little bit of story and a little arc. I think is what I thought they were keeping in.
I would find it hard to believe that all of the mundane side quests will be gone, but I would hope they reduce the number of them at least.
Yeah, so I think having a small, maybe 4 to 5 mission arc, I think that's a cool extra quest line that I really liked in Odyssey. There were several of those. What I didn't like is the job board that nobody really visited. They were really boring. It felt like the only reason you did it was to grind, to get crafting, which I hope they change in this game a bit. And yeah, no, go ahead.
The thing is, again, this game looks good from what they showed. Again, it's a very tailored and doctored trailer and showing that they're doing here. They're putting their best foot forward. Obviously, they want you to think the game looks cool and they want you to buy the game. But the stuff they don't show in these types of trailers is the stuff that we forget about that Odyssey has, I'm talking about the MTX, the EXP boost and the resource nonsense and all the other stupid microtransactions they have in the game.
That's true.
And that's just always a worry for me that the game is going to be super grindy unless you do that, buy the XP boost. I know you played Odyssey without buying the thing and you said it was fine, but
it takes some time. I will be the first to admit it takes time. But at the same time, the thing for me, and I know if it feels grindy for people, I'm okay with people saying it's too grindy. It's not. It's a little bit of a negative for me or for that person. I'm actually okay with that. For me, the grind was mitigated a bit because I did genuinely enjoy exploring. I liked going and finding those random quest lines that had an interaction with a character and you follow their story. I really enjoyed running around. I barely used the horse, and I always would find those moments. Like it's the reason why we found probably my all-time favorite clip and emote that we got from that, and from anything I've done on stream, is the bear please, which is just like the it clipped inside the bear. That kind of stuff I'm okay with the with having grind, because I'm doing all that other stuff. I'm a little bit okay with it. It doesn't make it right that they make it grindy so they can add microtransactions, but if I'm allowed to explore and just have fun with the environment, and the sacrifices is a little extra grindy, I'm a little bit okay with it. I really did enjoy looking at the environments of Odyssey. I'm excited about fishing in this game. I can't wait to fish. I think we need to just cut the crap with these games, and just, rather than fighting and being assassins, we just become farmers. We just fish, we harvest, we hunt. That's all we need. We just need to. You're building a settlement in this game. Let's just take it a step further. And if that was in this game, I wouldn't be playing it. I'd just be corn farming in this game the whole time, getting fish and farming.
See, Otto just wants to be a corn farmer.
My rant transitioned into why I'm becoming a farmer. But in all seriousness, this is a really gory game. That was another thing we commented on in the live when we were watching together during the event. This is really gory. There's just like the finishing moves are really like brutal, which is fine. And like you can just like see there's just so much raw power in every combat, in every exchange.
So I have a comment about that, actually.
Yes.
So I agree with what you said when I watched the trailer, and then again today, Young Ya had a video. He got to go hands-on with this one too, about 3 or 4 hours. I think about the same as Watch Dogs.
Sure.
And he said the opposite. He said
really?
in combat, he felt like it lacked impact in combat, with the exception of when they were doing the finishing moves, which is like mostly what they showed in the trailer. Is like, it's like nothing feels like it does anything. There's some moves where like enemies don't stagger, like there's weird bugs, and so that's again that was one thing where he said that, and I'm like, really? Because that was the opposite from what I got from the trailer. The trailer was like, man, this is brutal. Like everything is feeling so much impact. These executions are crazy.
Right.
And yeah, he basically said, for most of the time, the combat feels very, just doesn't have impact.
That's
basically
not good. I don't like hearing
weak.
that. I hope that's a single experience that gets fixed up, because I love the brutality of this. And I also love the fact that I don't think your character is really a hero in some aspects. It doesn't feel like it. I think with Odyssey, with Cassandra, you could make a very strong argument that she really is trying to liberate against the cultists, and really trying to, we'll say, be that hero character. This character, Ivar, I believe is the name, something like that. This character, you're pillaging and raiding innocent people constantly. It seems like, to grow your own settlement. It seems like I'm getting an anti-hero vibe here.
That, to me, I didn't know how I feel. Like, I hope they justify it a little more. Like, I know they said in the trailer that the Vikings, their land is dying, so they kind of just need to get more land, but I don't know. Maybe I'm too much of a goody two-shoes, but man, just like raiding random villages and just murdering innocent people and taking over their stuff.
Yeah, you're just taking everything.
Does not seem good to me. So I hope they find a little bit more of a justification for why you're doing this, other than, hey, we need more land. But I mean, I guess maybe that is the true Viking experience, so whatever.
And I think there is a historical aspect to this. So, like I said, I'm okay with it. I think it's a nice, fresh thing to go back and forth, especially with these AC games. I'm reading the chat and all I see is Blues. Let's go comment. I'm thinking of it in my head. I'm screaming. Going back and forth between the Paragon characters, the Paragon assassins, and the Renegade ones, the potentially Renegade ones, and then Connor, who's boring. The like, for example, like Edward Kenway, the Black Flag one, like he starts on the Renegade side, but he sort of like pushes that character arc more towards benevolence when you really start going through that story. If I'm curious to see where this character starts and finishes. Cassandra was just sort of like, even when you did choices, it still felt like you were staying on the Paragon side. I don't think you shifted too far into Renegade. By there were some couple things like you could kill your non-father. That's a spoiler. Sorry. You could kill that person, which is sort of a Renegade move. But again, like, that person also threw in your brother off of a cliff. I mean, there's like, okay, there's some this character, the Viking character, who I'm saying is Ivar, but I can be corrected. This character just feels like Renegade because it's a historical thing, and the Vikings are trying to find new lands to settle, and the way conquest is the way to do it. And Ivor, maybe. I'm okay with it. I like it. I think it'll be interesting. I don't think you're supposed to feel good pillaging innocents, and I think that's purposeful, and I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
What are some other things? I think they did focus again a little bit on the post show on choices. I will fully disclose that in Odyssey, your brother played Odyssey and was a little bit frustrated with the choices that ended up getting his outcome. And I do want to.
Yeah, he got kind of a bad ending to that game.
I
haven't played it yet.
He didn't expect, which is, I'm going to say that it's unfortunate because I was listening to the choices he made and the things he did, and it didn't feel like he should have gotten that ending. AC has done a okay job of adding in like choices, and they're expanding on it in this game. They did highlight a specific choice that you could make where you had we'll call it a rival settlement for now, and a guy whose name starts with R. We're gonna call him Roger for now. You end up attacking Roger to try and free your friend Oswald, and the person who was playing spared Roger because Oswald said, no, let's spare him. We're not gonna kill him. Then later in the game, when Oswald was getting married to someone who, by the way, the woman that he was getting married to looked real, like she looked tough too. I will say, like, your main character, when you choose the female character, all of them look very tough. They're very strong and intimidating, I will say. And the guy Roger comes back and he crashes the party. So I'm going to keep calling him Roger.
Rude.
I'm just going to keep calling him Roger for now. Roger crashes the party. And then there's another choice where you can have Oswald fight Roger, or you can fight in Oswald's stead to fight Roger. So there's like a little bit of choices. I got to be honest, this is probably going to be one of those debate choices where you make Oswald fight him and Oswald doesn't die for whatever reason, even though Oswald does not look like a warrior at all. It just seems like he'd lose. It seems like it's going to be one of those debate choices, and I'm a little bit worried.
I think they even said after the choices were made that
it didn't matter
during the live stream. Like, yeah, the result is kind of the same no matter what, but it just kind of affects the path it takes as opposed to.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
I don't know. I guess they didn't want to code too much complexity into choices, so they just sort of added some debate ones.
I mean, it's one example. So
yeah. Hopefully, it's just that one where it's kind of funky. There was something else that I wanted to talk about here, and this was a segment as well. You can rap battle in this game. They have this thing. It's called a flight. They call it a flight, and again, I credit the developers. They're constantly taking things from the Norse history and Viking history here with rap battling. They call it flights, where you're insulting the other person and trying to like make it rhyme and like make it creative. I'm in already. They showed one specific flight, and I'm in. I can't wait to rap battle for people for hours. Just trying to rap battle.
That looked pretty cool. The rock stacking minigame, on the other hand, I was like, nah, not down. I'm not down for the rock stacking minigame, to be honest.
Bad
Especially
puzzle.
since I was just watching it. I'm like, yeah, rocks don't work like that, dude. Like, it. Yeah, I don't
That
know.
rock stacking minigame, I think
That
somebody
looked
thought of
terrible.
it in a room and was like, you know what's going to be really cool? We're going to have them stack rocks, and they're just going to see whoever can get the calls, and then they're going to share with each other who can stack it in a certain way. And somebody in the corner is thinking, that's the dumbest idea I've ever heard. No one's going to do that. And I can guarantee you that person in the corner is correct. I don't see... I think people will share the stacked rocks thing because, like, I don't know, maybe they have nothing else to do. But every person that takes a picture in game of the rock stacking thing and shares it, and I see it on like some community hub page, which will be there, I'm just gonna laugh. I'm like, what are you doing? Do something else.
I'm kind of a completionist when I play games, and they showed them completing one of them, and he like got a skill point or something for completing the rock stacking mini game. I'm like, I don't want to have to do this. This looks just terrible.
That makes me unhappy.
It doesn't look fun. The rock, like the physics just look completely awkward.
I saw one of them where the person put the rock on top perfect. It seemed perfect, and it just went.
Yeah, no, the whole tower just collapsed. I saw that too. I was like, that wouldn't happen. This isn't Jenga. That's not how it works.
That's not how rocks work. Rocks don't work that way.
Rocks don't work that way.
The whole thing is the person screaming, "Rocks don't work this way." Yeah, I hope that puzzle is like a one-off thing. I hope the other puzzles aren't as like stupid.
Nah, they were acting like this was like a Norse thing that people did. So I think it's gonna be there's gonna be multiple.
I'm sure they did, and I'm sure they
rock stacking.
I'm sure they all hated it. I'm sure they were like, we could be drinking right now, but instead we're stacking rocks. I don't know. I'm sure that's like because there are drinking games in this
yeah.
In this there are mini games for drinking, and things like that. So they really have expanded on all of the
yeah. There looked to be a lot of mini games in this one, which I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but we'll see. Some of them looked fun, others did not.
If it's any like. Again, I feel like this is probably going to lean more towards the cage side of minigames than the Sakura Wars, Koi Koi Wars type of game, where that could have been a full-fledged game by itself, and I would have played that forever. So, what are other things that we should talk about with Valhalla that maybe I missed in particular, but things that you sort of resonated with you besides what we talked about? Anything?
Trying to think what else like Young said in his video other than the stuff about the combat.
I know Koi Koi Wars is an actual car game outside Sakura Wars. I'm very aware of that, but my point was that if Koi Koi Wars was a separate game from Sakura Wars, like as in Sakura Wars itself didn't exist and it was just Koi Koi Wars, I'm not gonna pay $60 for it. But I'd play that a lot and I'd enjoy it.
There was this one segment during the live stream where they were talking about where he had to like sneak around back and shoot a lock off a door from an open window. I just wasn't buying that because the earlier part of the video they're showing you like crushing people's skulls in with hammers. I'm like, dude, just bust down the door with a freaking hammer. Like, what's this roundabout BS? And the door. You know, it's frickin' Viking time, so the door's made of wood. Like, it's not like it's super reinforced or no. Take a hammer and smash that MF down. Like, that's it.
Break the window. There were like 3 wooden logs on the window. Like, I'm just like thinking, who needs the arrow like shooting through the hole? Just hit it with your axe and just go through the window. It was a little bit too cute.
Contrived. It felt too. It was contrived.
Yeah,
it was just like, nah.
Yeah, contrived. Like, shooting the lock from the door.
That's a immersion breaker for me. I'm like, nah.
Again, somebody thought, you know, what'd be cool is if we could have the player run around a house. They can't get in, but instead they like have to fire an arrow through this like window, and there's like it's like gonna be difficult. Looks like it's really skillful. And again, I'm just thinking in the corner. or they could just hit the door with their axe, or do anything else. Like your first choice when trying to break into something that looks like that, I can almost guarantee you the first one you're thinking is, I'm going to go around the house and shoot an arrow breaking the lock through a window. It's not your first choice. The doors were metal. I think the doors were metal when you saw
door
it.
was the door they showed was frickin' wood. It was just like logs.
The exterior that we saw was wood, but I think the interior they did show some metal. But again, okay, it doesn't work from that. The window next to it was not protected at all. Break the window, jump through. Very simple. Climb through the window. Don't shoot an arrow through there and like somehow break the lock. I can't imagine how many shots that may or may not take to get. I don't know. It just feels weird. Or lock picking. How about pick the lock? I don't know. I guess we're not really thieves, or like rogues, I guess but I don't know. Burn the house or that. Just burn it. Who cares?
Yeah, burn it down and then get the chest.
Just
that
burn
sounds
it.
good to me.
Just burn it. Whatever.
I mean, you're burning down villages throughout the whole game. Why don't you burn this one down?
There was a segment where you were in a burning house, or like building, I guess. A building was burning down. It's just like fires all around you, and the character's just pillaging the chest. You're just like, okay. I guess we're just like, it doesn't matter. There's just flames all around. It's just like, pillage the chest.
Yeah, I know what happened. I know there was a board, but if you shot an arrow at a board, it would just stick into it.
Yeah,
it wouldn't knock the board off. If anything, it would stick the board in harder. It would make it harder to bust the door down if you shot it with an arrow.
I knew this. I knew it. Try Courage is the guy that's really trying to be creative and cute with this puzzle, and Spoon's the one in the corner that's just like, this is too cute. This is too contrived.
I generally really liked puzzles, but this one felt really contrived to me. I was just like, no, I'm not buying this one.
Pillaging chests while the boat is sinking. Okay, that's fair. I retract. You do blow the ship up and then pillage it, basically. And Try says it's neat. I'm sure it is neat, but again, like it's tough. You're towing this line here, and for me, it's like, I get that you want to have some like little extra, we'll call it that, a small puzzle, where you go around and you're trying to find the way to open this door, but it's weird, like to have it not be in this specific case, be just break the window when it's really fragile. It just looks fragile. So with Zelda, there's like those complicated puzzles. Sometimes it isn't just shoot an arrow at the lock, but in this case, it's like, and in Zelda, like I said, I'm sorry I didn't say that right, but it's like maybe the only way is to shoot an arrow at the lock. I think that's viable, but in this case, the only way was not shooting the wood log or the wood barricade for the door. So, Try Courage did point this out.
Yeah.
Let me tell you a story. It's a story
about
of
Assassin's
rage.
Creed.
It's a story of rage. There was a time when I was playing Black Flag, they had these notes.
That's right, Black Flag. I thought it was 2.
They had notes, and they would make little sounds. You'd have to, and when you got close to them, they would start flying away. And the only way to get to them was you'd have to jump from, buildings, or jump from a building to a tree, or whatever. This was the dumbest addition to a video game I think I've encountered in a long time. It was infuriating.
I'm not sure I don't know if I go that far, but it wasn't good.
It was a dumb addition to a game that had zero impact on the outcome of anything. It felt like, for the completionists like Spoon, it felt like a middle finger. It felt like they were like, hey, do you like completing video games 100%, getting the platinum or whatever? Let me flip you the bird. Chasing these things is so bad.
Tilter. The early ones, at first it's not so bad. The early ones are pretty easy. You kind of just do one jump and you kind of get it and you're good. But some of the ones later in the game, you'd have to chase it for a while. And if you made one misinput, or because the parkour in this game is generally cool and fun, but it's not very precise. Sometimes if you're just holding it, sometimes your character will just like stick to a wall, or like run up a wall you don't want him to, or vault over something you don't want him to, or just jump off a cliff when you don't want him to. I don't think this parkour system is very good for these precise movements that you need for these like this note chasing thing.
Yeah.
So with some of the later ones, if you made a mistake, the thing was gone, and you'd have to. I don't remember if they respawn instantly or you had to wait or you had to fast travel, but you'd have to go back and try it again, basically, and it just got annoying after a
Yeah.
while.
I'm with you 100%. There's nothing else to say. These are really bad. I don't know who decided to bring this back, because in Odyssey these weren't there, and I like it when they're not there in these AC games because it doesn't catch my eye, and it's just when they had it in Black Flag, I did try some of them because I was interested to see what the outcome was, and I realized that it's nothing. It's just nothing.
It's just
for
a collectible. It's a collectible. It's just like, here, have a shiny collectible. Have fun finding all these things.
And I was I after a couple just said to myself, what am I doing? Move on. Just move on. There's certain things where you kind of want to go and maybe collect. I can get, especially ones that have a reward within the game. Here's an example. I'm going to use KH3. This is scary, by the way, that I'm using this as an example. The Mickey icons that you take pictures of. Those give you a reward. You get a reward, and a really good one, I'm told, because I didn't do them because I didn't want to, but a great reward for the end of the game. You get like an item. So whoever did do it, I think Blue did it and was telling me about it.
I mean, you get rewards as you collect certain milestones. Not for everyone, but you get items as you go throughout, and then if you get all of them and complete the game on New Game Plus, you get Oathkeeper. With the deal, you need the DLC. Well, no, you don't have to buy the DLC for Oathkeeper, I don't think. But
that's like a pretty good example of something where it's like it's a hidden collectible or something like that, an Easter egg type of thing, and it's got like this positive reward that really helps you later in the game. And if you don't get it, it's not the end of the world.
Nope.
These paper things that I saw flying, and they're like, and they highlighted too. They're like, look, everyone, you can chase a piece of paper. It's like, oh my god.
Well, it was for people who remembered it from Black Flag, I guess, and liked it.
Yeah.
That wasn't us. Apparently, some people liked that feature in Black Flag. I sure didn't. But
if you do, let me know, and so I can figure out what exactly the appeal was. I don't see it. I don't know. Maybe I'm insane. That might be true. I don't know.
Again, I think the idea of it isn't bad, but just the control of the parkour is not precise enough for it to be fun. There's too many ways, as I said, that your character just does what you don't want them to do, basically. So
I want to counter something you said earlier a bit. We've talked about our feelings on microtransactions, okay? I understand. I want to counter you a little bit. I think the microtransactions outside of the EXP grinding in these games are modestly acceptable. In these ones in particular, because I've bought 2 things from this game. I pay a little bit extra for Odyssey, and I did like it. You get like a couple like extra characters for your boat. Actually, I got one for free because I played Syndicate. Shout out to anybody who played that. And I got like 1 or 2 other things. I think I spent like $5 to $10. I don't remember the number exactly. I want to say that I really don't believe that the microtransactions outside of the EXP grind thing are that like egregious. I want to put it out there, and you can definitely disagree. I'm totally fine with this.
I haven't played it, so my information is lacking, to say the least.
Mm-hmm. So let's
generally
say okay. No, go ahead.
Generally, I'm not going to be a fan of any microtransaction that really affects gameplay in any substantial way. I'm fine with cosmetics. I'm fine with other smaller things that maybe have a very small impact on gameplay, but if you're having things like money and resources and EXP and stuff that can, like, basically you make the game easier for yourself by buying it. Yeah, I ain't a fan of that.
Sure.
Because that just means that it's likely the game was designed to make the game more difficult for you if you don't pay for stuff. Sure. And that, hey, here, you just pay $5 and you can make your life a little bit easier. You can beat our game faster, which
that's true.
Doesn't make any sense.
The crafting resources microtransactions are rough. It shouldn't be there. The cosmetic ones are good though. I do like the cosmetic ones. I like that you could get like skins for your boat crew. I kind of liked it.
Yeah,
So that's
skins I never have any problem with.
Sure.
I think they're generally overpriced, but
Sure.
otherwise they are harmless. They are
Mm-hmm.
skins. You do not have to buy them. They don't affect anything in the game other than the appearance of your character or your boat or whatever it may be. I have no problem with cosmetic microtransaction whatsoever in general. Except for maybe the $95 gun skin in Valorant.
Oh god, that's a whole different topic. I can't believe Trounce, my Overwatch buddy. I can't believe he tried to sell me on that. That was like, I almost got mad at him for that. He was like, it's just a $50 knife skin. Just, what are you doing? $50? That's horrible. He corrected me. He shouldn't have. It made me more upset. Yeah, I don't care if I was corrected. I appreciate the correction, I do, but that made me really upset. And like the package being $95 is what offends me. And like the fact that one of the skins is $50 offends me. And people are buying. I know everybody's going to buy it. I think that it's just great that people really want this thing, but for me it's just like it's a slippery slope.
Okay. Again, it's cosmetic, so it doesn't really affect aim. I just don't understand why people buy this. It's $95. It's a frickin' skin. It's not that. I mean, I saw the trailer. It looks pretty cool. I'll give you that.
Mm-hmm.
But $95?
It's just too
Are you
much.
kidding me?
It's a slippery slope. This is my issue. And
again, they keep. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm gonna counter try in a second here.
We've talked about this in the previous episodes of microtransactions. They keep pushing the line further and further and further back, and until we stop buying it or people stop buying it, they are going to continue to push the line until you say, no, that's enough. This is as far